at Marketing Fields, which is a great name, by the way.
I was a country music songwriter and professional musician.
Wow.
And as a marketer, we can still have a very important impact on people.
Helping B2B health tech
Now,
companies
getting
earn
into
visibility.
the era of AI search, AEO and GEO.
Welcome to the Marketing Charu, everybody, the podcast where we pull a card, spark a conversation, and uncover the strategies marketers are actually living right now. I'm your host, Charu, and today I'm joined by someone whose work I've been excited to dive into, Doug Pohl. Hi, Doug.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Of course. So a little bit about you. Doug is the founder and head of strategy at Marketing Fields, which is a great name, by the way. I love it. With over 13 years inside the health tech world, that includes names like J&J MedTech and Clinical that he's been associated with. He specializes in AEO and GEO content strategy, which we'll talk more about during the conversation, helping B2B health tech companies earn visibility in the AI-powered channels. So it's great to have you today and looking forward to a great conversation.
Yeah, me too. Thanks again.
Of course. Let's talk a bit about your journey, Doug. How did you land into this charming world of marketing?
It was, I think a lot of us have these weird meandering paths that get us here. I guess some kids might grow up thinking that they want to be a marketer, but probably not a whole lot. I definitely didn't, but I'm glad I did. So it really kind of started by chance. Early on, I got in with a medical device company in Houston, and for whatever reason, they thought that I should get a chance to do some. At the time we called it inside sales, but it was really marketing with a strong emphasis on a one-to-one ABM approach with zero tools or know-how on my part, and I absolutely loved it and ended up being pretty good at it. So I kind of cut the bug at that point and it stayed in the healthcare market and really haven't looked back since.
Yeah, I know. That's why I took the word charming. I think that suits best to this. It just keeps surprising us and so new every time you approach it. So I think that's awesome. So when you think about this journey, like what are some of the key moments or shifts that really shaped the way you work today, Doug?
Yeah, I've been fortunate to have quite a few of those, I think. And the big one actually came before I got into marketing. So as I like to say, in my previous life, I was a country music songwriter and professional musician, and did a lot of cool things and had some great experiences. And one of the big ones, the big takeaways for me, especially with writing songs, is that in a very short amount of time, maybe 2.5 minutes, the goal is to elicit an emotion from complete strangers who may not even be in the same room as you, right? And I always considered it a big win when someone told me that a song made them cry. I'm like, yes, maybe a little morbid, but and I took that with me into marketing, where the emphasis on storytelling and emotional connection and resonance has always been really important to me. So, like I was saying in that first job with the medical device company, I didn't know how to do one-to-one ABM, but I was really focused on the individuals that I was connecting with, and I would do lots of research on them. Like weird stuff that I definitely didn't need to know how many kids they had or where they went to undergrad after they got so many other degrees and things. So, but I would find all that, and this is before LinkedIn is what it is now, and I would do the research just so that I knew who I was talking to and I could customize my message for them. And I think that's why it worked. So I've really carried that through with me. And that first job was really impactful. So there was a day where a shipment was supposed to go out to, the medical device was for radiation oncology treatments. And there was a shipment that was supposed to go out, a mistake was made in shipping. And while we were correcting that mistake, which was very tight deadline, people were showing up for their appointments to get treatment, and we had to make sure that the devices were there in time. And it was a kind of a stressful day, but it was during that time when I was talking with the director of operations, and she told me, she was like, this isn't just a business mistake. These are people's lives. They're traveling from all over the country to be here to get this life-saving treatment. They're stressed, they're worried, they're emotional. And so we talked about that. And it was just a big moment for me, because I realized that even on this role where we're seemingly really detached from the impact that we have on patients or clinicians or whoever, depending on the solution, it's still there. And as a marketer, we can still have a very important impact on people. And I've carried that through with me as well. So it's not just about the numbers or hitting the KPIs. Yeah. We really do have a responsibility to the humans that we are marketing and the product interact with.
Yeah, there's a real human connection to this field, actually. And that's kind of what separates the messaging, separates the results, everything, because it's not one size fits all kind of a thing. So let's talk about what you're doing right now, a little bit about your current role and what are you doing?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of an exciting time. I feel like all the previous experiences really sort of been leading up to this, and I don't yet know exactly what this is, but it feels like I'm there. With this sort of really human, emotional focus on marketing as a whole, specifically in content marketing, and carrying that through my work at Clinico or in clients like J&J MedTech and different things. We're like really diving into all of that. So having the emotional aspect, the content marketing, the way that we communicate and connect, showing up in search results, make sure the SEO is on point, all these things that I've done, now getting into the era of AI search, AEO, GEO, and how do we maximize the opportunity there while maintaining all of these other things? And I actually think it's a really healthy overlap with all those things. So when we know our audience very deeply, underneath the surface pain points and challenges, but that emotional level where they make decisions in their subconscious, right? And then build the content that's really going to connect with them, build trust with them. Trust is one of the most important things in marketing, in my opinion. Of course. And really build that trust. And we can do it in a way that makes it easy for them to find. So there's the SEO, AEO, GEO stuff. And I actually think those things now, with AEO specifically compared to strictly SEO, when we have these other things in line, we're more successful in our AEO optimization. So we're really focusing on the people, on the messaging, on how we're communicating ideas. That all supports good AEO, and in ways that I don't think was necessarily true with SEO. So I'm pretty excited for the alignment with all of that.
Yeah, I am too. And just taking a step back, for someone hearing AEO or GEO for the first time, what's the simplest way to kind of understand what it is and why it matters right now? Like, if you can throw some light.
So if we just say SEO was finding information through a Google search, like we've done for the last however many years, now it might be finding an answer to a specific question in ChatGPT. And it's just, AEO is a way, it's answer engine optimization. It's a way for us to build our content to make it easy for those platforms like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, whoever. Makes it easy for those platforms to find the information they need from our content and then build the answer that we want them to build for our particular stakeholder and ICP buyer. So it is a bit different, right? Because they're building the answers without us, and so we have to train these models to say what we want about our brand, and that's different from just SEO. Where just click the link and we'll give the words to the user, right? And so it's a different approach, and these platforms, they're also really focused on trust. If they give great answer, every time they give a good answer, it builds more and more trust with the user. They're going to use that platform more, and so they're building trust with the user. And they need to have trust in our content so that they can pass it on to the user. And the way that we do that is through AEO best practices.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, again, one has to adapt with the changing technologies and the new whole AI wave that's come in, and marketing, I think, is one of the first that has to do that, kind of in a way lead the way. So, but then, What do you think? What's the first signal that your content is actually kind of resonating with AI systems, or maybe on the other hand, needs to be adapted to the AI system? What are some of those symptoms that one can see that can, lead them to do this?
Yeah. I mean, there are some tools emerging that can actually track it for you and show how often you're showing up. And those are already pretty solid. They're only going to get better. But I think even without that, there are some signals. I mean, the main thing that I think, especially in B2B and particularly in healthcare, where we have these complex buying committees and long sales cycles, is how much information are people coming with into the initial sales conversations? Because what we're finding is that they're actually doing a lot of research long before they ever contact sales or enter the funnel. And so they have, most of the time, they've already got their short list ready. And so if they contact sales and have that first conversation, they already weeded out most of the companies that are out there. And so they might have 3 or 4 that they're going to talk to. They already know what you do, what you don't do, and have gotten through all those sort of surface level questions. And they're going to come to that conversation with meatier topics that they want to discuss kind of further down the funnel. And so I think you can look at that, review the sales calls that are coming in. How much information are people coming into those calls with? What kinds of questions are they asking? Where are they at in the funnel when they have that first conversation? And compare that similarly with deal velocity. Are your sales cycles getting shorter? Are they getting easier? How many touch points do you have along the way? All these kinds of things, I think, can be good indicators, not very precise, but general indicators, in lieu of a particular tool that tracks it.
Oh yeah, I think that's bang on. I think the response from your prospects or from the lead list, I think, will give you a good idea of the initial signs of you needing to make some changes to your content. That's perfect. That's perfect. So now we'll move to our next section, which is all about marketing tarot. This is a framework that I developed. I feel like, with the changing environment, like marketing can be divided into these sort of deck of cards with, all our aspects aligned as one card. For example, branding, creative, disruption, ROI, and so on and so forth. And, whenever we approach a project or, a challenge, we kind of, pull out the best hand of cards that is needed to solve that challenge. So that's how I approach marketing. And we are going to draw a random card for you. And let's see, how does this card show up, or this theme show up in your current work or your thoughts? So are you ready for it?
I'm ready. I'm excited for it.
Okay, so here we are. Here's the deck. Is any card calling you out, Doug, or would you like me to randomly pick something?
I trust your random pick.
Perfect. Let's see. I think this works. Okay. It's the creative. Obviously, if I say it in 3 words, it's how you express. So expression, originality matters, because your product needs to be unique and original. And then how this flows through your entire campaign, through your entire marketing strategy is important. So those are the 3 sort of nuggets from my side for this creative card. But let's hear it from you, how creative plays a role in what you do. And I'm assuming it plays a huge role, of course.
Yeah, it's, first of all, I love design work. I wish my hands would do what my eyes and brain want them to do, because I think it's really, it's cool and it's fun, and it does have a huge impact. It's, I've done a lot of work in messaging, audience research, and finding ways to really communicate with people as effectively as possible, and to build the trust that we were talking about. And I think that the creative has a huge role to play in that. It's a big part of who the brand is. And I think what I really like to focus on is, before we get to, what's it going to look like, or anything along those lines, it's more, who are we as a brand? And that must first be based on, who does our audience need us to be? Which, as a human, sounds a little weird. Like, well, I am who I am. People, I'm either what people need and want, or I'm not. But But for a brand, it's different, because if we're truly serving our audience, if the solution is really meant to help people in the ways that it needs to, and that we're purporting that it does, then our brand does need to meet the needs of our audience. And so we have to truly understand our audience, get into that, that deeper level of insight and connection, so that we can build the brand that really does connect with them. And when we do that, then we know what to say, we know how to say it, and then we know what the visuals need to be. We know what the video needs to look like, how they're going to consume things, where they're going to consume it, all these things, and customize the creative around all of that. So I'm a big believer in it. I think it's most effective when we do the heavy lifting up front. We know all these things going into it, and we formalize that understanding, keeping it flexible as we need to, as things evolve and change over time. But we're really formalizing it, get everybody on the same page, so then there's no ambiguity. We produce something new, or we're going to try a different direction, something strange, unexpected comes up. We have the answer to that, and it's already there, because we've built it on the front end. We've maintained ongoing insights with our audience to evolve as we need to, if we need to, and we've got that ready to go. And I think a close partnership between creative and content and really all marketing aspects is really important.
Yeah. And do visual creatives or visual content play a huge role in AEO and GEO, or is it mostly text optimization?
Text currently. I mean, but who knows what's going to be in another year or 3 or 10. So I think visuals is still largely going to be focused on the humans for the time being, at least, because the LLMs are definitely focused on text only. But again, though, I think if we go back to what we were saying earlier, where people are using these platforms to search and build short lists before they contact sales, well, they might get good insights, good recommendations from ChatGPT or whoever, but then they're going to the website. They're all looking at the content as humans, and the visuals have to be on point, or they're going to leave, and they're going to mark that vendor off their list. Yeah,
and believe it or not, that does catch the eye first, right? Like once you look at a picture, it does, and then you kind of relate to the content of the text. But that's something that's an instant pull. So
I still come across websites that look like they were built with HTML back in the late 90s. Not very often, but it's always fun when I do, but more in a nostalgic way, not in a, ooh, I trust this vendor kind of way. We do judge. And when we see something that feels off, we automatically dismiss a lot of the credibility that might otherwise be there with good design.
Yep, that's perfect. All right, moving on. We'll get a little deeper into this, Doug, and we'll basically have you pick your best hand. What that means is you are going to pick 3 cards out of this deck of 22. And that's going to be probably the 3 best aspects that you look at a particular strategy with. That's the first 3 things that you keep in mind when you approach, a project or, a product marketing strategy. So let's have that here.
Definitely see the customer.
Okay, that's number 1. Perfect.
Always number 1. Trust on that second row. I'm pointing with my mouse and you can't see it.
Then we have.
Okay, and then ROI. There are a lot of good ones here that I would love to touch on, but I think those 3 are pretty standout.
Yeah, I mean, I think I see them as 22 pillars of marketing, but everything is different as a priority for different marketers. So I just want to know what are your perspectives on customer trust and ROI. So do you want to elaborate a little bit how these relate and why it's your best hand?
Yeah, so I think everything, I started with customer first, because I think everything has to be built for and around the customer. From the product to the sales, to marketing, the support, everything has to really be focused on what this group truly needs. And not just the group, but the various stakeholders within the group. This is especially true in healthcare, where you have buying committee is 5, 10 plus people, and each of them have their own risks and fears and concerns and needs and challenges that they're dealing with. So we need to truly address that, dig into each of those stakeholders and make sure that we're giving them what they need at every possible point. Particularly in marketing, I think that starts long before they even consider us as a vendor. If it's on the awareness level, all the way through the entire life cycle through retaining them as customers and expanding their accounts. So there's a big role to play there, and just always staying focused, keeping the customer as a North Star, I think is always a good idea. And when we do that right and consistently right over the long term, we build trust. So that's the second card. And absolutely nothing is possible without trust. It's really hard to earn. It takes a long time to earn over, however many touch points along the way. And each time we get it right, we do build a little bit of trust, incrementally as we go. However, it's really fast to lose that trust. It only sometimes can be just one mistake, one misstep can undo all of the good work that's been done prior. And so it's really important to keep trust as really kind of the pinnacle priority for the customer. So even beyond our own KPIs and the ROI that we need to get, we recognize that we're not going to get those things if the customer doesn't trust us, and if we aren't continuing that trust, even after they've signed and they are a customer. We need to continue building that trust, let them know they've made the right decision and they should stick with us as a vendor. So I think that's really important. And then again, when we get that right, the ROI follows. We'll get the return on that investment. But I say this with a caveat of a true content marketer, where it takes time to see the ROI. Yeah. We do need to be patient. We do need to be committed over the long term. Again, because of the process of building trust. These are human things that we're dealing with. As much as we focus on the numerical KPIs and the hard numbers, we're dealing with people, and that trust has to be built in a human way. And so that does take commitment over long term. It has to come from the heart and be truly foundational to who we are as a brand. A full circle here, and we can do that as a team and have an alignment if as our North Star.
No, I think that's the full package there. Like, if you know the customer, if you build trust, you're going to get the results. As simple as that, right? Now, as a platform, Doug, do you think these AI platforms have more or less trust than the search engines, or are we evolving right now, or where are we currently?
Probably a bit of a mix, I would say. My knee-jerk reaction say they have more trust than traditional Google searching SEO stuff, because we're going to get an answer that feels catered to us as a user, versus having to sort through. And a lot of times the content is fluff, or it's not meant for us. We have to really dig into something to find the one answer we're looking for. So those are all sort of friction points that can erode trust. And when we get an answer that's catered to us, and we may not know how the algorithm works, but we assume it's just scouring the whole internet, and in a fraction of a second gives us exactly what we want, that feels right. And even if it's a hallucination or it's not totally accurate, whatever, it feels right. And as a human, that builds trust. So I do think that there's the perception of more trust with these systems, and it's likely warranted to some degree. I think they're going to get better over time. And then, and what was the other aspect you said there?
I think you're right there. Like, I think this is growing day by day. I think still people take this with a grain of salt, because, as you said, hallucinations and stuff, there's something that you encounter sometimes. But I mean, at least personally, I'm gaining more trust on these AI tools on a daily basis. So I think it's getting there.
They will get better. Yeah, they will get better. I think that's the other thing is they're improving weekly. But yes, over the long term, I think they're going to get significantly better. But regarding the hallucinations and things, I think that's why it's really important to have a very intentional, deliberate plan for the AEO and how we're going to train these models to speak correctly about our brands, where if we don't tell the models what to say about us and how to say it, then they're going to make up something.
Yeah.
And that's where we run into trouble. If we don't train them properly, the best case scenario is that they will describe our brand as generically as our competitors, and we'll lose all differentiation that we think we're putting out there. And so if that's the best case scenario, then I think that really paints an important picture of why we need to focus on AEO and getting our stuff out there in the right ways.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have a point there. Perfect. So I think we're at the end of this section. I love your best hand. And we kind of moved to our Q&A section, Doug, where our previous guest actually left a question for our next guest, and I would love your insight into this. What does a meaningful partnership look like, for a modern startup today in the day and age of AI? Do you have some thoughts on that?
I do. Partnership gets thrown around quite a bit. It sure sounds nice. I think it's already lost quite a bit of its meaning just because of how much we see it around. So that alone is a reason for me to typically suggest a different option to clients. But I think for me, what true partnership is it's the listening. It's not coming and say, this is what we do, this is how we do it. Now, while that might be true, and certainly we need to operate in ways that work for our company and our team, we need to first listen. And I think when vendors truly listen, they can hear things that allow them to serve their partners, their clients better. And I'm not sure that happens as much as it should. It's easy to sort of like get the win and they sign and that's it. And then they get handed off to an account manager who maybe like is sincere in what they do and really tries, but maybe the process just doesn't support them to do that in the ways that would truly be the definition of partnership. So especially if we're going to jump into that as marketers and say that our solution is a partner, and we got to make sure that that's actually true, because it's an uphill battle to stand out with that term as it is. If you got it right, though, maybe, and enough social proof, maybe you could actually stand out with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think as partners, you have to speak the same language, and you do that when you share the nuances, as you said, which comes from listening carefully and clearly, having that clarity. And that's when you kind of connect as partners and, you do things together and get results. So I think that's absolutely needed. Well, that's great. Do you have a question that maybe you would like to pass on to the next guest, or maybe get opinions from the marketing community, Doug?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this conversation. It gets me kind of fired up just thinking of the human aspects of marketing, especially with the AI being what it is today and where it's going. I think it's actually the more reason to stay focused on humans and double down on that. And so I'd be curious to hear, especially if the next guest is kind of more in a quantifiable aspect of marketing. How do they focus on the human component of their work, and how do they make sure that they're not losing sight of the people that they're marketing to?
Yeah, and not from a necessarily, as you said, like KPI perspective, or maybe from a KPI perspective, how do they measure that, right? Like it could be either or.
Yeah, even if it's just an indicator, because of course we need to measure. Yeah. So how are you tracking that? But how are you approaching it in the first place? And then, how are you tracking it to see how that's going and find ways to do better?
Yeah, because we're losing that a little bit, in this race, in this fast-paced race. So I think that's a perfect question. Well, thank you for that. I loved our conversation. I think the time went pretty fast, actually.
Super fast. That's what happens when you just let me talk. I'll just keep going.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm all ears to hear if there are any passing thoughts or something you want to say. Please go ahead.
No, I think I've said a lot of the things that I think are important, and these are the soapboxes that I stand on, all the time, because I truly believe that these things are important, and I'm excited for where it's all heading. No, thank you very much for having me, Charu. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Doug. It was really, really special. And I'm sure the marketing community, and not just health tech, right? In general, I think what we spoke about applies to all the industries.
100%. Yes.
So thank you once again, and have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks so much.